So, Megan, our 15-year-old daughter, Skyla, is experiencing dizziness, difficulty breathing, and just an overall feeling of sickness. And we think it could be mold in the house.
Yeah, absolutely. Because she only has those symptoms when she's in her room or has slept in her room. But then when the second she leaves her room, it's no longer there.
And now this saga has been going on for probably about 6 months now, right?
Oh, at least since last October.
Yeah. And so this whole saga started off, we had in her bathroom, it has an exterior wall. And when we moved into the house, we had a cat door put in so that the cats could go out through her bathroom outside to this enclosure that we had built. So that way we had the litter boxes outside and not in the house, and we didn't have to worry about it. And so for the last couple of years, the cats go in and out of her bathroom.
Yeah,
and
we
she's
didn't want the
hated
smell
that.
in the house.
Yeah. And so last October, there were some heavy rains here locally. And we noticed that it was kind of flooding on that side of the house. The litter boxes were filling up with water and kind of spilling over. And that's what really made us focus on, is it coming from that cat enclosure and the cats coming in and out of there, right?
Yeah.
And so we ended up closing off that cat door, moving the cat door to a different part of the house so they don't have to go in and out of her bathroom anymore. But the symptoms still remained. And there was this smell coming from that area of the house, the bedroom, the bathroom, all of that. And we ended up saying, well, we've got to get rid of the cat enclosure altogether. We've got to remove it. And so we did that. We trashed it, closed up the wall and kind of cleaned the area, but they went on. The symptoms went on.
Well, it's not like she has symptoms every week. It's like she went into her room, it smelled, she felt like she couldn't breathe, she was dizzy, like vertigo. And Skyla's the type of person, though, she's been dizzy off and on since she was like 2 years old. She has a very sensitive vestibular system. And whether she's getting sick, anything could make Skyla dizzy. But it's not like it's a daily thing. It's like maybe once every couple of months or whatever, like, I'm dizzy. Oh, you must be coming down with something or whatever. And so she slept in her room, and this was beginning of February, and she felt dizzy and like she couldn't breathe. So then I thought, okay, well, there's something in your room. So we took everything out. We cleaned everything. Long story short, we did everything possible to try and figure out what was happening.
But what we did was we got rid of mattress, box spring. We got rid of her fabric headboard, cleaned the floors, cleaned the walls.
We had our bug people out to check the attic for rats that were dead. We had plumbers out to check the piping and seeing if it was something with the sewer system.
They actually pumped smoke into the sewer vents. We had smoke shooting out of the roof vents to make sure that there wasn't a crack and a leak in the sewer vent somewhere, and that was that sewage smell that was causing it.
So eventually we had to get air quality testing, which came back normal. So the last thing we've done now is we hired a restoration company who has now removed her wall, is not fully, like
It's
the drywall.
4 feet of drywall, the entire length of one wall. They ripped it out, ripped out the insulation.
They don't see any leaking. They don't see anything, but they're still going to, as precautions, they sprayed it with like a Kills. And yesterday was scary because Skyla decided to go into her bathroom, which is connected to her bedroom, which has all of the smell in it yesterday because they sprayed it. And she came into my room at like 11:30 and she's like, I have an awful headache and I feel dizzy. And I'm like, well, it's because you were smelling the stuff.
Right. It was a really strong chemical smell from it's almost like a spray paint, but it's stronger because it's the Kills.
Yeah. And so I gave her Dramamine and ibuprofen, and she still was dizzy. She was dizzy this morning. And so, it's interesting because I'm somebody that likes to investigate everything. I'm an investigator. And so it really comes down to her vestibular system being very sensitive. And then what's weird is vestibular migraines can cause you to feel chest tightness.
Yeah, just discovered that this morning.
And they said instead of a Dramamine this morning, give her ibuprofen because it's a migraine type reaction. And she's feeling better after the ibuprofen versus the Dramamine, which you'd think would be the help for her dizziness.
Right. So it's not actually an allergic reaction to mold or cat urine or something
but
like
that. But it could be. Not allergic, but it's like
it's
a sensitivity.
Yeah, it's something that's triggering a migraine, essentially.
And so it brought up to me the cases that we handle and mold cases. And I mean, this has been terrible because she can't sleep in her room because she gets sick.
Right.
And now we're going to have to do it step by step. You know, we have the wall clean. We're going to have to figure out what candles, what perfumes, what everything she has going on in there that might be causing these vestibular migraines where it could have been mold, right?
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, do you want to get into mold cases that we do handle? If you live in an apartment complex or you're renting and you're having symptoms, what do people need to know about that?
Yeah, so it's difficult because this is what we're going through here is actually the way defense cases work when it comes to mold. It's like, well, there could be a dozen other things that are causing it. Why does it have to be mold? But if you see mold, if you see black mold, you got to get an air quality test and you've got to see a doctor and they can do testing on you and determine if you're having that reaction. Problem is the defense comes in and they have their experts that say, you know, mycotoxins are pervasive everywhere. They are always going to get tests that show that it's positive because it's always there. But it's a question of how much, at what level is it causing a reaction in the person? What are the symptoms? And yeah, we've handled that. We've seen it in apartment complexes. We've handled it in homes. And funny story because we actually represented a celebrity years ago.
Definitely. And he said that you were the best attorney he had ever had. That's not a shock.
Yeah, well, thanks. But he had a reverse osmosis water filtration system installed in his house. And for months, unbeknownst to them, deep in the cabinet, it was leaking into the wall. And so they had black mold all throughout their cabinetry and walls. And he had a terrible, terrible physical reaction to it, health reaction. And he got in to see a specialist and had a lot of medical treatment for it. And he was an athlete. And so it was affecting his breathing and his ability to play his sport. And so we took that case and pursued it. And then we did well on it. And he was very gracious giving us that recommendation. But do you remember what we did? Essentially, this was years ago.
I do. With that other house?
No, you remember what we did with the money that we got?
With the other house.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Yeah, okay.
We decided that we were going to buy a new house.
Right.
And it was a builder.
Right.
And we went to go check on it. And we saw a restoration company literally at the house we were buying. And there was a huge leak upstairs that had went all the way down into the kids' rooms, everywhere. And they weren't going to tell us.
Right.
And they were trying to remedy it. And you went to them and said, I don't want this house anymore. Because they said it was a non-refundable deposit.
Yeah.
And you went to them and said, hey, the money we put down on this was from a mold case.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to mess with.
Yeah. You sure you want that fight?
And they gave us our money back.
Yeah. Within a day.
The benefits of being an attorney.
But you know, we've gotten calls from people in apartment complexes, and those places are notorious for not being properly maintained. They live on a very tight budget as far as their overhead, and so they don't put enough money into upkeep on them. And so you can see just different areas where they're really in bad shape. And then they're also notorious for hiding the company within a company within a company. And so you always have to figure out who you're actually suing in order to bring the case forward.
Right.
And so there's a lot of digging that has to go into that.
Do people have to pay money if they think they're sick with mold?
Well, to hire a lawyer like us, no, you don't. You come to us, you show us what's going on, and we work on a contingency fee. So our fee is a percentage of anything we get. And if we don't get anything, we don't charge anything.
So then you would send somebody to my apartment, let's say, to see if there's mold, or you would send me to the doctor and I don't have to pay for that? How does that work?
Yeah, so you'd have to get the person into a doctor who can diagnose, run the tests, the blood test, the breathing test, all that, and diagnose a mycotoxin injury. And once you have that diagnosis, then yeah, the next thing is you've got to get air quality testing in there. You've got to get the experts to say, yes, it's coming from here. And we can match up which mycotoxin is causing the injury and which mycotoxin is in the apartment or the house. And you match all that up and then you can bring that case forward. And so, yeah, there's doctors that will do that treatment without payment up front. Maybe they get, have the promise or a lien that they will get paid out of any settlement. So there's a lot of different options there.
Hey, real quick, if you're new here, my name is Ken Gerber and I run Gerber Injury Law here in Phoenix, Arizona. If you've been hurt in an accident, I want you to hear me clearly. The insurance company is not on your side. They have lawyers working for them from day one. You deserve the same. At my firm, we take on car accidents, slip and falls, and all types of personal injury cases across Arizona. And here's what I tell every single client. You pay nothing unless we win. No upfront costs, no risk, just me and my team fighting hard to get you what you're actually owed. If you've been injured, don't wait and don't settle cheap. Give us a call. The consultation is completely free, and I'll personally make sure we take care of you. All right, back to the show.
Megan, you've got a penchant for meeting famous people and not knowing who they are.
That would be correct.
This actually just happened last night.
That would be correct.
Again.
I don't know. I guess I just see people as people. I don't see them as their famousness.
So last night we were at a book signing. And our friend Nick Lowry has a new book out. And so he invited us to this
Which I explained to him. I didn't know who he was.
Right. When we first met him the very first time. He kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs years ago. Very, very accomplished. You didn't know him. But he invited us to the book signing last night. And so we're talking with people there. You walk one way. I follow you through the crowd. As soon as we get over to where we are, you turn around and go the other way. And I turn and say, well, I just got here. I'm not turning around and following you. So I'm standing in line by a crowd near the bar waiting to get up closer. And I see you across the room and some guy works his way right up next to you. Next thing I know, he's talking to you. And I think to myself, I got to get over there.
You're silly.
So I get over there.
And he had introduced himself to me, which he seemed really, really friendly.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
But I didn't know who he was.
Right.
It was, I think that I'm just not always... Is that a famous person? I don't know who it is. So he introduced himself, super nice. He goes, hi, my name's Ike. And I'm like, hi, Ike, nice to meet you. And then I saw you to my left and I'm like, Ike, this is my husband, Ken. And you go, I love your sandwiches.
Right.
And I'm like, was I supposed to know this?
So Ike, because he's not everywhere throughout the country. It said he's in 9 different states. It's Ike's Love and Sandwiches, which I wasn't lying. I do love the sandwiches. They're really good. The Dutch crunch bread is phenomenal when you get the sandwiches. But yeah, that was just another one of those instances where it's somebody who's a notable person. Megan's just Megan being friendly.
Megan's just Megan. I've met Elon Musk. I met Kobe Bryant's wife. I met, who else?
I don't know. You've gotten friend requests on Facebook from people and you're like, do you know who this person is? I'm like, yeah, of course I do. That's all-time leading rusher of the NFL.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't pay attention to that.
Right.
I just want to know, are you a good person?
Right.
Like,
okay.
I don't care if you have $1 billion or $1. Whether you're poor or rich. I mean, like, I think it's awesome to learn about their successes.
I want to hear the story. I want to hear the story of you meeting Kobe Bryant's wife.
Well,
this was years ago before Kobe went down in the helicopter.
Well, I was at a spa and there was a beautiful woman sitting next to me And we're waiting, and it's kind of a long time to go back there. And so we just started talking. I noticed she had a beautiful ring on, and she was just super friendly. And so she's like asking me what I do. And I said, oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but we have a law firm and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, what do you do? And she goes, oh, I'm also a stay-at-home mom. She said, my husband's a very famous basketball player. And I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. Because I know nothing about sports. Literally nothing. I mean, unless it's like the Super Bowl shuffle from like 1989 or 85 from whatever. Right. And I knew the fridge. I don't even know his real name. Or something about hockey, but I don't know anything about that anymore. And so she's like, yeah, my husband's, the way she said it was very much, his name is Kobe Bryant. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Wow.
Played it off beautifully.
Because I didn't know who he was. I had no idea. So I just kept saying, remember the name, remember the name, remember the name. So I went outside and left, and I called you and I said, so I met this woman, and her husband's name is Kobe Bryant. Do you know who that is? You're like, Megan, what the hell? I'm like, is that somebody famous?
You said she was wearing a very large diamond ring on her finger.
I'm like, it was really beautiful.
That's the diamond ring. That was very much in the news at one point.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything. She was just glamorous.
And then you mentioned the Elon Musk story. That's hilarious because you were at a party and there was.
I was at a friend's party.
Yeah.
Don't name everything.
But there were other celebrities there.
Yes. And I went to a bar, and I was going up to get a drink, and it's funny because I think that like, and I feel bad because sometimes people, I think, look at me like I should know who they are, but I don't. I'm like, you look like you're important.
This was also, okay, in your defense, this was also years ago.
This was like also like 8 to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was at the bar, and so it was like, hey, how's it going? He started talking to me, and I'm like, good, how are you? He's like, so what do you do? And I told him or whatever. And I'm like, so what do you do? And it was kind of like, what? And he's like, have you ever heard of Tesla? I had a little bit to do with that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I think in the car, because you weren't there, I called you. I'm like, do you know somebody by the name of Elon Musk? You're like, babe, literally? Like, I don't know who that is. So that's why it's like, whenever I go to places where there's influential people or people that have done stuff, I just kind of like, hi. We were at the news, and there was somebody on, I'm not going to mention, but it was like a musician. Right. And he actually was not very nice. And there was this musician, and it looked like he was somebody that had been a musician for a while. Like his roadie case had like a lot of stickers and different things.
We were going to be on the news, and he was like the segment either before or after us, and we were in the green room, and he's sitting there with his very well-worn guitar case. And so I'm
like, well, he looks, the way he's dressed and the way his hair is, he looks like he's been around a few times, like been around the block. I'm sure he's somebody that I should know, but I don't. And I don't want him to take offense to it. So I'm like, good morning. Hi, I'm Megan Gerber. Who are you? And he's like, I'm so-and-so. You could tell like he had kind of an attitude about it. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry if I'm supposed to know who you are. Don't take offense of me not knowing who you are, because it means nothing. You could like, I'm so sorry. And I said, what band do you play for? And he's like, play for? It's my band. And
okay, but I got to describe this guy a little bit more, because he's sitting there, and honestly, we've met enough celebrities, and a lot of them are very, very
they're just
nice,
down to earth, sweet. Yeah.
This guy, and he wasn't in anybody. I didn't know who he was. I'd never heard of him. He's open for some bigger name bands that are has-been bands, but he's opening for them now in their, late stages. So it's not like he's a real draw for people, although I guess if you're in that circle, maybe you know him. But he's sitting there, and honestly, he's got his phone, and he's not looking at you at all. He's on his phone. Yeah, no, I am the artist. And he's just totally rude, totally full of himself, can't be bothered with you talking to him.
I know. It was really strange because it seems like to me, and I'm sure it's not everybody, but it seems like the more that these famous people have been around, just the more chill they are.
Totally.
And they're just like, hey, what's up? And whatever. But like the more you're like needing to be, it was almost like, why do I not have my own green room? And who is this
totally
pauper talking to me?
We were invading his private time in the green room.
But it's funny because when we go over to Channel 7, everybody comes out and is like, hey, what's up, Gerbers? We love having you here. So it's not like we're nobodies. I don't know. Like, even if I am a nobody, like,
right.
Why have that attitude? Maybe you'd be more famous if you didn't have like a chip up your butt. I don't know.
Definitely could be.
I mean, I think he needs to wear some of those granny panty BBL underwears.
Oh my gosh.
The other day.
In the casita in my home office working that day, and all of a sudden...
Oh, you're talking about the BBL
Yeah,
underwear?
you come running in. I don't know what that term was. I had to ask what that term was. It's Brazilian butt lift underwear.
Yeah.
So you wear them and it makes your butt, I don't know, stand out more, I guess.
Yeah, it looked awful. It didn't really work. I think I bought them at like 3 a.m. on TikTok or something.
But you came running in and you've got your Lululemon leggings on and you just been working around the house, but you had those underwear pulled up over top of your leggings. And so they're skin colored and you're just twerking and doing all
you know what I should have done?
Moves.
I should have put a thong over that to make it look like a butt.
It already looked kind of like a butt anyway.
It was just fun.
But you posted the video.
I don't give a
running
crap.
through the yard, twerking throughout the yard.
I don't give a crap. You know what? I realize I am getting too old. I will be 53 in August. I don't care. No shame in that. I need to have more fun. You either are going to like me and go, oh, she's fun, or you're going to go, she's ridiculous. Well, then move on. I don't care.
Somebody asked if you were at least in the backyard of the house when you did it. I said, she posted it online. It would have been more private if she was in the front yard.
And I suck at twerking. I am not a good twerker. I don't know how to move that butt. I feel like I'm doing it really intensely, but Skyle's like, no, Mom, you have to like have the jiggle or something.
So where did you post it? Was it just on Facebook or is it on?
It was on Facebook, Instagram. Oh, I don't know about Instagram. TikTok.
All right. They can find you on TikTok.
You don't stop.
Go see
We
your
knock boots
BBL.
till 6 o'clock as we lay. All night long and early in the morning we sing that song. Ooh, boy, I love you so. Never, ever gonna let you go. Once I get my hands on you.
So this is Life with Megan.
Ooh,
There's
boy,
stories
I
like
love
this and then just potentially break out into song at any time.
See, he's letting me be myself because I said I've been bored lately. He's like, okay, babe, we'll talk about fun stuff today.
I don't know that we're going to get into the BBL underwear story, but that's great. I love it.
Well, last night, Nick mentions it in front of everybody at his book signing.
Right.
He's like, you got the Gerbers over there. Megan running around with her granny panties online. No one had any idea what, like, it sounded like I was just running around with granny panties just wherever.
Yeah, he didn't give the backstory to it that was actually planned and you dancing around on purpose, but that's all right.
That's funny.
How much did you pay for those BBL underwear and did you get your money's worth out of them?
No, I never wore them and I forgot that I had them. So they were probably a 2-pack for $9.99. Actually, I could probably make them myself. You just get some underwear, sew some cotton in there. And you know what? Desiree, my assistant, had a good idea. She said we could wear them on the airplane when we're going to Poland and it would be cushion for our butt. I told her how you don't really like driving long distances in the RV because your butt and back get sore. She said you should have RV pants with BBL.
I can guarantee you I will not wear those BBL underwear.
Oh, they might look good. Looks like you've been squatting lately. Give me that booty. Oh my gosh, did you hear this morning there was an attempted school shooting by a guy who was a previous student at the school, obsessed with Columbine, like 20 years old, and went in there trying to shoot up the school. And the principal saved everyone. Like, he's a hero.
Yeah, he's by all rights, he's a hero. And I guess what he did was he just reacted instinctively and ran towards this student that was armed with semi-automatic weapons and got shot in the leg while doing it, took him down, and then was able to wrestle him, hold him down. Other people came and joined in until the guy got arrested. And that principal's action saved every kid at that school.
Oh, I love
Nobody
that.
got injured. Nobody got killed. He was the only one that got hurt with the shooting in the leg. It was amazing. It was an amazing thing for somebody to do.
So let me ask you though, like, because parents are always like, you know, we've seen stories where sadly, you know, children have fallen, and maybe that was a fake story, fallen out of a window. They didn't, you know, catch them properly. So they sue that person. You know, there's been heroes sued before. Let's say that guy, and there's a camera, he runs up to him and hits the gun, and the gun goes, shoots and hits a student in a classroom. And they blame him for going after this shooter. And they could say, my kid wouldn't have been shot if you didn't go and do that.
That's actually a really good question. And what the law looks at with this is, did the person act reasonably under the circumstances? And so you've got to look at it in that framework of what this principal did. He didn't have any training. He wasn't specifically trained in security or gun handling, from what I could tell anyway. And it was just an instinctive reaction. He ran to save the school and all the kids there. And so the law will look at it and say, in that circumstance, with what he knew, who he was, and everything that was going on, were his actions reasonable? And they were. They were. And the proof of that is he saved countless lives. And so if somebody got hurt, then he likely will not be held responsible for that, because he was acting as a good Samaritan and saving people's lives. Now, interestingly enough, get this. Who would be held accountable criminally would be the would-be shooter. Let's say, you know, God forbid it were to happen and this innocent bystander student gets killed because the gun gets knocked loose, it just goes off, kills this other student. That would-be shooter, the kid who's going into the school, would still be charged with murder. It's called the felony murder rule. So he's in the process of committing a felony, and somebody dies. And whether he kills that person directly or not, because there is a death in the commission of his felony, he gets charged with murder.
So criminals out there, you're going to go into the 7-Eleven and bring a gun, and you're like, I'm not going to kill anyone. And someone tackles you and your gun goes off and you kill someone, but you weren't planning on it. You were just scaring them. You're going to jail.
Yeah, well, think about it.
For murder.
No, exactly. Think about it in this scenario. Let's say it's two people working together. That's what Columbine was. There were the two kids that went in. Let's say one of them went in, absolutely was not going to pull the trigger. In your 7-Eleven example,
say, I'm just going to go in there to scare them because I want the money.
Two people go in. One of them's not going to pull a trigger. The other, maybe the other guy's not planning on it either. But one of them shoots and kills somebody. Guess who gets charged with murder?
Both of them.
Both of them.
Wow.
Felony murder rule. Because a death happened in the commission of a felony, they get charged with murder.
So hint. Oh, I'm not going to say hint.
No, it can be a hint. Don't shoot people.
No, I was going to say, if you're going to go into the 7-Eleven with a gun, don't have bullets in it if you're not planning on shooting anyone.
Yeah,
but then that's me supporting crime, which I don't.
Yeah, well, that... But see, that brings up the issue of if you go in somewhere with an unloaded weapon and somebody it acts in defense.
Oh, so somebody else has a gun.
Somebody else has a gun, or police show up on the scene and they see somebody with a gun, but it's not a loaded gun. It doesn't matter.
No. So, scenario that just popped up in my noggin. Okay. You don't have a loaded gun.
Right.
Someone else comes in there to shoot you because they think that you're going to shoot people, and they shoot the cashier. Are you then held responsible? Because let's say I walked in somewhere.
Right.
And I got my gun.
Right.
Which I carry all the time, by the way. And I walk in there and I'm like, you're going to kill somebody. And I'm like, boom, but I miss and I kill the cashier. Will they be held responsible?
The person who's robbing the store with a weapon,
even if it's loaded or not,
whether it's unloaded or not, can be charged with felony murder because somebody died during the commission of his felony.
Well, let's say they don't have a gun. Let's say, I'm just going to come in and beat you up for your money.
Okay.
And then someone came in and shot.
It has to be during the commission of a felony. So if it's just, I'm going in to steal
That's not a felony?
package of Tic Tacs or M&Ms.
That's not a felony?
Something like that is a petty theft. It would be a misdemeanor. Different. Now,
You know what? This is so complicated. Just don't steal. Don't go in places
I mean,
and like
that's the easy
shoot
answer.
people.
that's the easy
Just
answer.
don't do it.
But it happens, and we have laws that increase the penalties for somebody who does it.
Good.
Right.
Go make money. Go work. Get off freaking stealing.
Yeah. The other point is, let's say this principal were armed, if he was allowed to be armed at school, and he was armed and saw this kid coming with the automatic weapons, would he be justified in shooting that kid?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
yeah.
whether he was coming at him or whether he was going at anybody else at the school, you're allowed to use deadly force when you're faced with deadly force to protect yourself or others.
Oh, that's absolutely correct. That's why we have a bazillion guns at our house.
Right.
So let's say the principal did have a gun, shot this guy. Could parents sue him for emotional distress from shooting the shooter?
Okay. So to reframe the question specifically, so I make sure that I understand, you're saying if another innocent bystander student sees the principal shoot and kill this would-be school shooter, would the parents of that student be able to sue the principal for emotional distress for their own child?
Yes.
Okay, the answer to the question, could they sue? Yes, they could.
They could do whatever they want. I understand that.
But do I believe that there is an actual legitimate claim there? I don't, because it have to be negligent infliction of emotional distress. So again, the law always comes back to reasonableness. Did that principal act reasonably given the circumstances? And if he was acting in defense of himself and the other people at school, the other students, he's acting reasonably. And so he's not negligently causing this emotional distress. So I don't think that that would be a successful claim.
I didn't think so, but I just still wanted to ask for the audience.
Yeah, no, great question.
So before we end this, I want to remind everyone, we still have the Defensive Driving Scholarship going on. So go to gerberinjurylaw.com and fill that out if you feel that you have a student that would be benefiting from this class. I think all students, every person probably could benefit from a defensive driving class. And we're giving it away to families that really feel like they can't afford it, to kind of give back and make our roads safer.
Fantastic. I love it. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.